second. Oh, that's a lot of hair to the front.
Okay.
Where do I would love a middle part, but whatever. Welcome back, double teamed fam. How are we doing?
Are you sitting up higher than I am? Do I need to?
I am sitting up pretty high.
Okay, there. That's better.
I don't know what I want to do with my hair. This is what happens when I wear my hair curly. It moves around a lot.
Well, for those on YouTube, you can see it. For those on audio, you can't. Anyways, how's everyone's week going? Are we practicing gratitude?
Remember, if you want to keep something,
show it gratitude.
Show it gratitude.
Yes.
Cats.
Are we taking a deep breath before we have any sort of reaction to something? Let's take a deep breath now. In. Out. God. What?
No, this nostril's
your nostril. Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
My nose is itchy.
Cashmere's head's just popping up on them. For those on YouTube, the cats are catting.
Present, yeah.
They are. Anyways,
yep. Moving on.
So for this episode, it's going to be a two-parter. Part 1 this week, part 2 next week. Basically, Cammie and I
and our friend V.
Yes, it was a joint birthday party thing, but we threw a birthday play party, and we planned this literally. When did we start planning it? June.
We had the conception of the idea was like end of May into June, I want to say.
And that's when we asked our friend N if we could borrow his home. He's hosted a lot of play parties there. It's a beautiful house. And there are some other groups that have hosted at his place. And we asked, hey, can we throw like a joint birthday play party in October? Here are the dates we're thinking. He was like, absolutely. Here are the dates that work for us. And so we started planning. And obviously, like when we started planning that birthday play party, neither of us thought like, okay, we'll be in full-blown monogamous relationships by the time this play party rolls around.
So that was fun.
But obviously that's how the cookie crumbled.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about it.
I'm not either. And V was super understanding.
She was. And V is single. But I guess it was just, before the party there was a lot that went into it. That will be this episode. Next week's episode will be about...
This is going to be how to plan a play party.
Yeah, 101. This one, and then next week will be how the party went and, any debrief moments, that kind of thing. So first things first, we had the idea. We secured the venue, our friend's home. And then from there, we kind of just started putting together a guest list of all the people that we would want to invite. And he told us, typically the house can hold about 80 to 120 people. We knew we wanted around 100, something like that. And then, so we started putting that list together. And it was a bit early, but we sent out a save the date. The party took place on October 5th. We sent out the save the date like
June.
Mid-June. No. We started planning it mid-June. I think we sent it out like late June. Yeah, it was late June. Okay. Late June, early July. It was before 4th of July. I know that. Anyways, so, and just to let everyone know, because people in LA were already planning a bunch of concerts that weekend. There's another couple that we know that hosts.
October was booked.
Yeah, October was booked. There's another couple that hosts their annual like Halloween play party, and they had already claimed the weekend of this weekend, actually. So for y'all going this weekend, have fun. Love you all. I'm sure it's going to be a great party. Anyways, so October was starting to fill up, so we were like, we should go ahead and secure the date. So we went on Partiful. You can use multiple platforms. We like Partiful.
I love Partiful.
LA uses Partiful.
Yeah, I don't know if other cities use other things, but Partiful's been pretty great.
And if you've never heard of Partiful, it's a great way to like send out like text blasts and notifications and invites for an event.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
yeah,
so
super convenient.
Not sponsored,
nope.
But Partiful, if you want to sponsor, hit us up.
More than welcome to.
More than welcome to. Yep. Anyways, so we sent out the Partiful, sent out the save the date. By then, we didn't have a theme. We hadn't thought of a theme yet.
I think the theme came to be in July.
No, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. theme came about in July. Yeah. So, and
Which
then,
was, we can say the theme. We've
yeah,
already
you can
said
say
it.
the theme.
Galactic Wild West.
It was just going to be aliens. I originally thought the theme of like doing something like celestial zodiac, think like stars, everyone can like dress as their zodiac sign. I was thinking somewhere along the lines of that. But then we shifted that to aliens. And then someone mentioned something about wanting to like wear a bolo tie. And I was like,
M.
yeah. And I was like, oh, we could do like cowboys and aliens, space theme, galactic Wild West. And that's how the theme was born.
It was a great theme.
Galactic
because
Wild West.
I don't know, just something about mixing cowboys and aliens really is just top tier.
It is.
So I thought it was great.
And there's so much you can do with that theme too.
Mm-hmm. And then from there,
then we kind of came up with a budget.
Yeah.
Because V wanted to go all out. I was thinking, like a couple birthday cakes, maybe some of those few like galaxy lights that shine up on the roof, that kind of give that, universe starry look.
She turned this into a Kinky Rabbit production. Might as well have been. I thought she did phenomenal.
No, she did great. I'm not complaining whatsoever.
Went way over budget, but
we went way over budget. Okay, but before we get into more about the theme, a few things we also did do for the party. We requested that everyone get tested within a month because there was a gonorrhea outbreak. What?
And in some of the communities. Yeah.
In some of the communities, there was a gonorrhea outbreak going around. Yeah. So we were like, let's go ahead and just require testing a month in advance.
But I will say I have seen more parties in LA start to request
testing,
which I think is great.
And I think it's probably because there have been a few more. And I think what it comes from, because it was oral gonorrhea. It was people were getting it from, or they were like their throat swabs were testing for it. So like, vaginally or penally. Okay.
Penilely?
No, okay. Okay. Let's put it this way. Their genitals were not testing positive for gonorrhea, but the oral swabs were. So,
which, if you're getting tested, as you should be regularly, I don't care if you are open or monogamous, but you are dating and you are seeing multiple people, or maybe you have a partner for 1 month and a partner the next month. Either way, you should be getting tested regularly if you are not in a long-term monogamous committed relationship. Mm-hmm. And when you go in to get testing, you should test anally, orally, and vaginally.
Or genitals.
Penally. Or sorry, genitally. Yeah, or urine sample. There we go. That's what I'm saying. Oh my God. Penally. Penally. Let me redo that. Anal, orally, and urine. Why? Because you're, men, women, your holes are pretty close to each other, especially us ladies. Like, that bacteria can transfer over. Don't think that just because I've never had anal sex, like something could still happen. You wipe the wrong way and that shit spread. Like, come on now. And then if you're giving someone with gonorrhea or chlamydia head or eating them out, whatever, now you have it in your throat.
Yeah, that can transfer too.
Yeah, it's just bacteria is not just like selective, like we only live here. No, it moves around. Okay. So make sure that you are always testing all three
options.
There we go.
Holes. I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So we require, and that was like what we made the requirement to be, that they had to test not only like genitals but also oral sample and anal sample. And we set up a specific email address for everyone to send their test results to.
I feel like that made it really easy.
It did make it really easy. That was really nice. And then we had a spreadsheet of everyone. And then we also, because like we had a lot of decor, we bought food, all this stuff, like we did request $25 per person to like
it was a $25 entrance fee.
Yep. Which honestly, like even the house parties that I've been to LA, there are some that have required like anywhere from a $20 to $40 entrance fee pretty regularly
per person.
Yeah. Obviously, if you go to the like club parties, that can vary. I mean, I know Kinky Rabbit for a couple is like 1,000. Lovely Fate is usually at least 50 to 100 per person. The Play is like 500 per couple, I think, something like that. Like, you know, it's not abnormal to have like something to cover costs. And so we did request everyone to send $25. And that covered a good chunk of everything that we did, which was nice. But yeah, and those were the two requirements if you wanted to come. Pay the $25 and submit your test results. And we had like a big old spreadsheet. And I think the funniest thing to me was that I was the one that had to man the test results, the email box with the test results. And I don't know about y'all, but like I remember someone, HIPAA, I remember someone had like just forwarded the email from their doctor, and the doctor had like just given him like a whole rundown of something else. And like I saw the whole thing. And, you know, on one hand, I'm like, thank you for trusting me, sir, because HIPAA, I'm not going to do anything. But on the other hand, it felt a little intrusive. I was like, I feel like I know a lot more than I bargained for, but thank you for sending your test results. It wasn't anything big. It's not like it was anything like incriminating, you know. So anyways, that was interesting, but everyone was really good about like sending their results, and everyone did all three.
But you do have to chase some people down. There were several reminders being sent out.
Oh yeah, we did send out quite a few reminder texts like, hey, get your test results in 2 weeks out until test, blah blah blah, a friendly reminder.
One thing that I loved about that spreadsheet is how people were added into the spreadsheet.
I learned so many people's last names.
It was not first and last name for everybody. Like, and that's the thing. We just mainly used in the spreadsheet. It was just a lot of first names or couple names. And then, or like Hot Jake, Bite Jake, you know, like
British Brandon with a good dick. I was like,
Robert Good Dick. And then you're just like,
and then you get a test result from like Brandon Smith, and you're like, okay, so are you British Brandon or are you Brandon with a good dick? Like, which one is it? Or then there were so many Jakes or Jacobs, and so then I get all these, and a lot of, you know, so it's like I get all these test results from people
deciphering the Venmos.
Yeah, and I'm like, who the fuck sent this? And there would be some people where, like, you know, we would like, she put in like a nickname, and then they sent in their test results, and of course, like, it's their full legal name. And I'm like, who is this? There were people, I have known them for years. We've been going to play parties for years. But when they sent in their test results, that was the first time I ever learned their last name. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, wow. Now I know. So I'm like, I've literally, you know, seen this person naked, interacted with them at many play parties for many years, had no clue what their last name was. So I learned.
Yeah, like close friends too.
Close friends.
Yeah.
People I would like, you know,
invite to your wedding.
Exactly. And I'm like, well, now I know your name. So honestly, the logistics was a lot. I remember one of our friends, as it got closer, I like messaged him and I was like, hey, I still don't have your test results. And, you know, in this instance, for example, he was like, hey, my partner and I are going. We don't plan on playing with anyone else. I haven't had time to go get tested. I've been really busy. You know, can I still come? Is that okay? Here are my last test results, etc. There were a few special cases where like I didn't mind, you know, making an exception or like letting them know like, hey, it's okay. Just either like communicate to someone that you have, if you're going to play, that you haven't had, you know, test results or whatever. But for the most part, everyone did really good. But I just remember at one point he was like, I just want to say kudos to y'all for, you know, requiring testing and tracking everything down and everything. And he was like, I know that's a lot of work. And it definitely showed me just how much work is involved in doing something like that. It honestly gave me like a lot.
It took me back to my event planning days.
Okay, well, I never was in event planning. So like for me, I think this was like not the first time. I've planned other larger events before. It reminded me of planning a live show.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Which just event planning can be a lot. It is a lot.
For anyone that does event planning for a living, it is a lot. And that's what I was going to say, is that it gave me a lot of respect for like the clubs and organizations that do put on play parties on a regular basis, and I always wondered, I'm like, oh, you know, why do they only do them like once a month or once every like 3 months or something like that? And now I'm like, because it's a lot of fucking work.
But also V has also been an event planner. She puts, production and stuff in the past. So, like, she's also really good at this, too.
She was. And honestly, had it not been for her, like, the party would not have been what it was.
No, she had a great creative vision. And that's definitely one of her strong suits.
And she executed.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what else leading up to... I mean, we did Partiful does send out a 2-day reminder and a day of reminder, I think. Mm-hmm. We sent out a few reminders before that.
So those were all the logistics.
We did provide like examples of where people could go to get tested if they wanted to do it for free versus their doctor, whichever.
And quick plug. I think we've worked with a few. Do we still have an active code for stdcheck.com?
I think so.
And then I think that's on our link tree. And then we also have a code for at-home testing if you don't want to go somewhere. At-home testing, nice and easy with...
Well, I think STD Check provides both.
And then also another one that we really like to work with is Evie, which is an at-home testing kit. And they do like not only like at-home testing, but also like vaginal, like microbiome testing. And we have a code for that one as well. So DTFam, if you want to go use that.
Codes are on our link tree.
Codes are on the link tree. But yeah, that was, we try to make it as easy as possible for people. Mm-hmm. But that's like on the logistics side. Now, on the side of the fact that we both had boyfriends going into this event. I can't speak for Cammie, but like when I first started dating my partner, I let him know. I was like, hey, just letting you know, even though like we're monogamous and we've decided like we're not going to play with other people, I did plan a birthday play party for, my birthday. I was like, it's already well underway. I'm not canceling this, And I kind of let him know, like, let's just have a discussion about, what that looks like for us, if anything is allowed, etc., and kind of go from there. So we had quite a few conversations.
Yeah, I would say the same.
Like, I would say in the very beginning when I first told him about it, he was like, well, if you want to go play with girls, like, that's not a big deal. I don't care. Also discussed, like, a few, like, possible scenarios. I'm like, okay, well, what if I want to, everyone usually gets naked in the hot tub. Is that cool? And he was like, I would not feel comfortable with that. And I'm like, I'm totally cool not getting naked in the hot tub.
Okay, so Popstar sent us some more bottles of their volume and taste enhancing supplements. Now, my boyfriend's loads are pretty big and they taste really great. So I'm about to be giving these out for the holiday season, which I think they make great stocking stuffers.
Especially for the man in your life. Or men.
Exactly. It's like you could gift these to your friends. You could gift these to your lovers.
Not your dad.
Definitely not. But I do think... our friends have tried these and they actually really like them. So I do think this is a great product. They've got a lot of zinc in them too. So not only are you tackling the cold weather, but you're getting ready for cuffing season.
It does say it promotes overall semen health, which I think is great. So
yeah. And it is doctor formulated, which I think is really important. So guys, if you are looking to maybe add something fun in the stockings this year, I think Popstar is the way to go.
Stock their stuffing so they can stuff you.
You heard it here first, guys. So go to popstarlabs.com/DTF, DTFam. Again, that's popstarlabs.com/DTFam and use code DTFam to get you some savings off your bottles, right? DT fam, Nikki and I may be off the streets and off the dating apps, but you might not be. So obviously we want to highlight one of our favorite apps, and I would say it's the app that started it all, Field. It's not a vanilla app, it's an app for everybody, right? And they do have a brand new feature where you decide who and what you like. You get to filter your likes based on preferences, which I think is huge.
Oh.
Exactly. So preferences like sexuality, desires, gender, age, all of those, you can now filter. So instead of like, back in the day when I was on the dating apps, I would just be scrolling, and it's not like I would actually get to like see who I liked the most, right? I'd have to like, go into each profile, really take a look. Field is making it easier for you all, not us. We're off the apps. But so anyways, guys, if you are looking to enhance your dating app experience, get on Field. I feel like it's the only good one left.
I ordered Joy Mode to take to Italy, but I forgot it. So now I got to wait until the next time I go.
I know. I think you should really test it out. I unfortunately haven't gotten to test it out with my partner yet.
Typically supplements are like the last thing I remember to take when I travel. And so this time, like, I need to make more of an effort. I got to pack my magnesium for me so I can sleep better, and then Joy Mode for him.
Yeah, I'm really bad at packing supplements.
I always forget them.
40 different ones that I take. So
I know. And I just like when I'm packing, I just focus on the essentials: clothes, phone charger, shoes.
But I guess my partner is coming over this weekend, so we'll just try it then. Yeah. Guys, if you want to try Joy Mode, go to tryjoymode.com and use code double team for 20% off. Again, that is tryjoymode.com. Use code double team for savings.
So like we had a lot of discussions, but it's funny because like at the very beginning when we discussed it, it was like some things are okay, and then as we like actually got into our relationship, then it was like, or like deeper into it, especially after I visited him in Italy, we were both kind of like, I was like, well, I don't know if even I want to do that. And mainly it was around like, okay, if I want to like, play with a girl or something like that. He understands I'm bisexual. And yeah. And so, but then I was just, after I visited him in Italy, I was like, I don't know that I'm ready to play with women. We're monogamous, and I really just want to like focus on us, and I don't want to do that right now. And he was like, okay, that's totally fine. But yeah, I mean, prior to, we had a lot of conversations around it, and I think it was like a good opportunity to kind of like really get clear on, the monogamous boundaries of our relationship. And it did prompt a lot of conversations where we were like actually able to discuss like, okay, is this scenario something that like would make you uncomfortable? Is this scenario something that you consider cheating? Like things like that. I feel like it actually prompted us to like have like more clear conversations about what monogamy looked like, what cheating was, what is okay, what is not okay, what would trigger us, what would make us feel uncomfortable even if it isn't considered cheating, what would make us probably like be upset at the other partner even if it is something kind of really relatively harmless, things like that. So I really appreciated those moments, and I thought it was like a great opportunity for our relationship. And also for me going back into monogamy, just because this was the first time I've attended a play party where, I couldn't play with other people, if that makes sense. I've gone to plenty of play parties before and haven't played with people out of choice. I didn't want to, wasn't feeling it that night. Maybe I was on my period, maybe just didn't really find anyone that I kind of, hit it off with. So, but that was always by choice. In this situation, it was more so regarding, my relationship, but I think also by choice. I can't say that I was like, oh man, I really wish I could do this that night. I wasn't going into it being like, oh, I wish I could do this, but I can't because I'm monogamous. I didn't feel that once.
Yeah, same. I mean, I had similar conversations with my boo. But I mean, we had already outlined, because when I told him about the party, I was like, hey, like, we can't go back on this. Sorry about that. But we're doing this party. And he was like, okay. But I think by then we had already pretty much discussed like what our definition of cheating is. And just, the fact that like, even if I do like playing with girls, which I don't know, I'm not fully bisexual. I think I'm like hetero-flexible with some bi tendencies, but it's not like and so, we kind of went over that, but like, we agreed that choosing, I wouldn't play with girls in our monogamous container. Like that's outside our boundaries. But then like going into the play party, like it's not like I ever felt like I was like, oh man, I'm missing out. Like, no,
Yeah.
this is where I'm at right now with my relationship, and I'm not missing out. I've been to plenty of sex parties. I don't need them, to live. So I think it's nice to have like explored them, and I'm happy in my monogamous container. I know my boyfriend and I discussed, he was always curious about sex parties, but it's not something that he's ever like done, and so he did end up attending, but we can talk about that in the next episode. But yeah, I mean, it did strike up some good conversations for us pre-party, in the sense that like, just getting to know each other and like where we stand. But yeah, I was just happy that he like didn't cower or like get like super how do you say, like he didn't reject it when I brought it up. That was one thing that I was really thankful for, is he was just like, okay, like I told him, I was like, hey, we're throwing this party, and he's like, okay, all right, well, let's talk about it. And we did.
Yeah, mine was kind of the same way. Not once was he like, no, I hate this. Like, it never turned into like a big like deal, or like something that he was like, I don't want you to attend, or anything like that. Like, it was always
just something in discussion.
Yeah, it was always just a conversation. So it was always really healthy conversation, which I think is what I appreciated the most.
Yeah.
But I thought he handled it really well. He'd never been to a play party ever, so I had to do a lot of like, okay, like this is a possible scenario, like the hot tub thing. He was like, is that normal? Do people like get naked in hot tubs? I'm like, people usually get naked like right away, or not right away, but like at least an hour or two in, and then everyone's walking around naked. They get comfortable. If they want to get in the hot tub, they go naked. Da, da, da. And he was like, okay, I didn't know this. He didn't know like what to like expect. So I did also kind of give him like a general outline of how a play party progresses. One of the big things for him was, he was like, well, like, what if someone just like starts, like what if someone wants to play with you? What if they start touching? Da, da, da. And so like I made sure to like explain to him that obviously consent is really big in the community, and people don't just start doing that, and they want to make sure that like everything is, before that they proceed with anything, that you're okay with it and ask for permission. So yeah,
I think it would happen out of blue.
Yeah, I think I represented it pretty well. And I mean, him and I have talked about like in the future, if it's something that we would want to attend together, he wants to, like, just to at least like experience it. But it's more so one of those things where it's like neither of us are looking at it as like one day we have to attend. It's more so one day, if we both decide we want to attend, that conversation can be on the table. It's nice. Not as if like, okay, one of us wants to go, the other doesn't. Now it's going to be months and months of like one of us convincing the other to go. It's more so, if I want to go, if you want to go, if we're in agreement there, we can talk about it, see if we're ready. I feel like at least, if that conversation comes in the future, I have the tools to handle that conversation. I know what that looks like. I'm, very well versed in the play party world. So I feel like I would be able to do like a good job of bringing the both of us into it.
Yeah, I would say we're in a similar situation, but also like, for my partner, if he said like, I don't think I ever want to attend one, I would be like, okay, like that's fine with me. I choose you. So,
I mean, I told my partner the same thing, is that because, we talked about like play parties or threesomes, maybe if we want to do that in the future. And, I told him, I was like, if like I'm taking this at face value. We're going into this monogamously. I'm not hoping or expecting you to change your mind someday. I am like if we get to that point, and even if we both want to go and he decides he's not ready, or I decide I'm not ready, like it's not a necessity either.
Yeah.
So it's not something that like I am hoping one day he'll come around to and we can go as many times. I do love play parties, and I want to say like, the years that I have spent exploring them have been some of my most favorite years, and I'm so glad I gave myself the opportunity to explore them. And like, if it's anyone that explored it, it's like I
was gonna say we've been to a ton.
I've been to a ton. And they are fun, and I think
yeah.
I think it can be a really great way as a couple, if you want to just like go, do something different for a night, or just like go have some fun, whatever. Like, it can definitely be a thing for fun, but like, I mean, it's up to you to decide if it's something that you need on a regular basis for yourself or not, or
Yeah.
for your relationship. So that was everything that went into before the party. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot that went into it, a lot of planning.
I would say if you're going to plan a play party, give yourself like 3 months.
You could probably do it in a month and a half.
Okay, yeah, you can if you are speedy and you don't have a bunch of shit to do in your day-to-day life. Like, yeah, sure. I think like if you had a lot of free time, you know, or maybe you're like very efficient in getting shit together, yes. But otherwise, it's just like, you know, we, you know, would set up meetings with V to go over the guest list and to go over who's paid, who's, you know, who's done their STD testing, sending out reminders, like all of that. So it does take time, and people have busy lives. So I would say, yeah, take take at least 2 months to give people time to prepare.
Yeah.
Because, you know, put that shit on their calendar. It's not like you're planning a wedding. It's not that big of a deal. But, you know, if you're requiring testing, you know, payment, all of that, I would definitely say give it like a 2-month window to prepare.
And I would also say that, like, I mean, because it was 3 of us working on this event, so it helps if you have people helping you. And like, I think about all the, you know, the organizations and clubs that, you know, host play parties here in LA. Like, they all have teams of people. Yeah. So, and especially, but I mean, and then I think about the house parties, and usually like it's a couple and they're putting it together, and so then it's at least 2 of them. So like, it's definitely something that I think like it helps if you have some help doing it. And I mean, yeah, because aside from all the logistics and conversations, there's also like kind of planning, like, you know, everything that you have to do the day of, blah, blah. We'll get into that a little bit in the next episode. But don't underestimate the work that goes into it, especially if you're requiring testing and any form of payment for the party. And also, if you are hosting a play party, like, don't be afraid to ask for a couple bucks for people to help out. Like, especially if you're providing alcohol and food and like setting up the place and all of that, like that's decorations. Honestly, a lot of what we did, or a lot of the reason why we charged, was because there was a cleaning, like we wanted to have the house that we used professionally cleaned after. And so,
and the cleaning fee was pretty pricey.
And it was a big house. So obviously that's going to cost some money. And so if you're like renting out a venue or renting out a house or something like that, don't be afraid. And I've been to plenty of play parties hosted by people, like I said, where they said, you know, hey, $20 to get in, $40, whatever. And I've happily paid it. I think if it's a house party and you're charging more than like $50-$60, then I'd probably question things and be like, that's a bit pricey. But when it's like usually under $40, I think that is very fair.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, because you can make a sex party. We've been to plenty of sex parties in the past where it was just, you show up to a house, it's not there's no decorations. You know, the place is just there for you to use. You know, people mingle. There might be some snacks, and then that's it. That's a very low budge party. Totally doable, still a ton of fun. This was a theme, you know, a birthday party. We really wanted to, you know, put thought into it. Like, and, you know, for example, our friend's Halloween party is the same. They do a theme, they go all out with the decorations, you know, so there is a reason for those entrance fees. And you can do either or. If you're looking to throw a play party and you want it to, you know, not make it such a production, you can totally do that. Or if you do want to make a production, also do that, you know?
I feel like for us, it was like our birthday party, but also probably like our last play party for a while. So I was happy to make it a kind of a bigger production, more of an event. And yeah, we'll see you next week for how the party actually went.
And day of planning. Don't forget, wear condoms.
We'll see you guys next time.